Hi guys, welcome to Capital Trends. It's your host King Wanyama. So today we are discussing about a very serious, dire issue. And in this issue, if you are an elite or someone who can reason and think with us, stay here and let's talk about this issue. At Capital Trends, we have realized a few reasons as to why we think Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is, as a matter of fact, winning over William Samoei Ruto. And the following are going to be the reasons. And by the way, as we go ahead with this discussion, you can let us understand from your point of view or from your perspective why you think what we are saying is right or wrong. Okay? So point number one, why we think the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is winning over William Samoei Ruto is one. Raila Amolo Odinga has managed to effectively communicate to the people that these demonstrations, that these resistance, this anti-government resistance is not about Raila Amolo Odinga. And it is true. As a matter of fact, as we speak today, everyone who is heckling the government, everyone who is anti-government today, they think that for the first time, these entire issues are not about Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. It is about the people. Why? Because this entire thing, like the most recent finance bill, when Kenyans were saying no to the bill, this regime, Kenya Kwanza regime, forced these laws down the throats of the people, and the people are angry. As a matter, they are hungry and angry at the same time. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you can agree with us, if you want to enjoy any riches that you have, the best security, and I bet you can agree with us, the best security you can ever have to enjoy your riches and your wealth is having the minority in the community, the most less privileged, have something in their stomach. Otherwise, you lie to yourself. These guys will jump over your gate and come for whatever you have. You will not sleep at night, right? And that is one of the most reasons as to why we think Raila is winning. And by the way, he's winning. And this brings on the table the point number two, why we think Raila is winning. Ruto and his regime, they are trashing the power of the people. These guys don't know. If they want to know the power of the people, we've had presidents being pulled out of the seats by the sovereign power of the people. Where is Bashir, for instance, right? If Ruto and the regime don't listen, if Ruto and his brigade are not going to listen, there is a reason as to why the people who came out with the constitution, the people who brought together the laws, there's a reason as to why they called the people's power sovereign. It is like as though trying to stop River Nile from flowing from Jinja to the Red Sea. Yeah, it is impossible. You cannot stop people. It is like trying to stop water. Water, you can't even set up a barricade for water. It will it will break the barricades. Yeah. Ruto needs to understand and listen and understand and come to a realization that you cannot stop people power. It is sovereign. And that is reason number two. And he may come to understand this, by the way, with time. But right now, they may be seated somewhere, glorifying themselves and thinking that they cannot be pulled out of power. Dear Mr. President, people's power is sovereign. You need to listen. Otherwise, they're coming for you. This is the reason number three as to why we think Raila or Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is winning. This regime, this Ruto regime, and I wonder who is advising them, by the way. And if you are anywhere close to the president, you need to let him know of this. That the constitution allows people to demonstrate and picket peacefully. Yeah, peaceful demonstrations are allowed by the constitution. And so until when Ruto and his regime will understand that this is the people's rights. Now look at the demonstrations, how they are always happening. It is until the police show up is when there is chaos. As a matter of fact, when we had the demonstrations the other day, if you go through the deaths that happened, 98%, if not 100%, so to speak, over 90%, all those people died because of police brutality. And by the way, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They died because of police brutality. And this is the same thing. This is the same blood that is going to cry out from the soil of Kenya and bring down this entire government, because you cannot be the president and when people are crying, they are going hungry, so you decide to shoot down the people. You see, if we say the people are saying no to the constitution, and you say, when we say it is the president who is pressing for all these things, let me ask you, whose signature is on that bill as we speak today? Yeah, the president needs to understand that the reason as to why he's going to come down is because of the police brutality. And by the way, let me tell you, this brings the next point as to why we think Raila Amolo Odinga is going to win together with the people, because he has a following now as we speak. Imagine the kind of tactics the police are applying. These tactics they look like as though what was applied in the 1990s. That what was applied in the early 1994 then, because the police are throwing tear gas at people like as though just like the other day in Mukumu Girls, when parents were trying to get into the school to understand what is happening, why are the kids dying, or why are the students dying, and in a mere quarrel, the police throw tear gas. Do you know what is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? And I beg your pardon on this, or rather you can correct me on this. How these things are happening, it is going to get to a point in time when the police will be showing up in a mere Changa station, and they throw tear gas, and the people will be beating around the police, because it is going to be, they are going to get used to this. And mark my word, a time is coming when the people shall see the police as, hawa tunaweza piga tu, there is nothing they can do. And let me tell you, I wouldn't want to stay in such a country, because a time is coming, by the way, a time is coming. If the police continue with the trend by which they are continuing with today, their time is coming. And that is, as a matter of fact, why President William Samoei Ruto needs to know that tactic is not working at all. It is not working. The second last reason as to why, ladies and gentlemen, and by the way, as we continue, you need to be, tell us if we are wrong, by the way, and if we have forgotten others, we can do another mini-sode of the same video, so that we can point out these reasons, and finally, we understand how this game is going to play out, so that at Capital Trends we can have a family where we can point out all these issues. The second last point as to why the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is going to win is this. Everything Raila is doing today, is as a result of what the other team has done. For instance, when Raila Amolo Odinga says that the government is against the people, the government is in the other side confirming by, as a matter of fact, sanctioning things that are against the government. You cannot say that you are struggling with finances when, even as we speak today, by the way, if you are in the government and you're watching this, tell us. You cannot say that we don't have money today, and even as we speak, just tell us, estimate how many people are on foreign trips as we speak. The people who are spending Kenyan money. The people who are Look at the entertainment budget at the State House, or rather in this government. These guys will tell you we have 8 million for just tea, when they are telling you we have no money in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, this in itself is a reason as to why Raila Amolo Odinga will always resonate with the people, consequently his win. Right? And the last thing, the last point as to why we think the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is winning is this: he has a following, he has people, and he is consistent. And that is why, by the way, he has a following. In fact, in the previous election, it is only that William Samoei Ruto and his regime, they played victim. And do you know the consequences of someone playing a victim? And it works. It works if you are not in power. It works when you are outside the power and you are blaming the power. And so you can play the victim. Oh, this is a deep state. Oh, they are doing all these things because they are in power. And you highlight the problems of the people. You tell them, oh, you guys are going hungry. You guys, the fuel levy is high. You guys, the power is high. You cannot afford, you cannot access clean water. And it is because of, for instance, the then President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. It works. But once the people understand that you are in power, because they will put you there. Once they understand that they are in power, you are in power, and as a matter of fact, they come to a realization that it was only a fairy tale, that is when they come for you. That is when you know the real meaning of sovereign power of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we have so many reasons as to why Raila Amolo Odinga is winning, and I bet we have had presidents being chucked out of the presidency. And Ruto is not an exception. If Raila Amolo Odinga is going to get those signatures, it is quite likely that we can go to a referendum where we are going to vote for no confidence in our president. And what does that mean? Ladies and gentlemen, you can let us know from the chat section. And please, thank you so much for what you're doing for us at Capital Trends. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button right down there. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that every time we do an analysis or we come up with a video, you are among the first people to watch them. Otherwise, right now, thank you for the love. Bye-bye for now, and see you in our next video.
Thank you.